Welcome to today's video, everyone. We'll be talking about a flip-flop pattern for this week. Gonna have a lot of cold air in some places and warm air in some places. This depends where you're at in America. So we can see Monday at 5 a.m. in Wisconsin, we can have lower 20s. North Dakota, we can have the teens. Michigan, we can have the 20s. South Dakota, we can have the 20s. Nebraska, we can have the Verdes. Iowa, we can have the Verdes. Illinois, we're in the 40s. Indiana, we're in the 40s. In parts of Ohio, we're in the Verdes and 40s. Michigan, we're in the 20s. Missouri, we're in the 40s. Texas, we're maybe near 50. Colorado, we're in the 40s. Montana, we're in the Verdes. Wyoming, we're in the Verdes. You see Utah's in the Verdes. And we can see maybe a little of Arizona that's in the 80s too. So let's move on. Alright, so Monday at 8 a.m. we can see we got Verdes in Iowa, 40s in Missouri, 40s in Kansas, 40s in Oklahoma, 40s in Arkansas, 40s in Texas, 50s in Louisiana, 40s in Mississippi, Alabama, 50s in Georgia, 40s in Kentucky, 40s in Tennessee, 40s in Arkansas, 40s in Missouri, Verdes in Iowa, Verdes in Wisconsin, the teens in Minnesota. You can see even the teens in North Dakota in 20s. The 20s in South Dakota, Nebraska, we're in the Verdes, 40s in Kansas, 40s in the Missouri, Ohio, we're in the Verdes, Michigan, we're in the Verdes, Wisconsin, we're in the Verdes in 20s too. You can see out here. Alright, Monday by 11 a.m. we could have some 50s in Kansas, 50s in Oklahoma, 50s in Texas, maybe even some 40s in Ohio, and maybe even potentially by 50s. Michigan, we're in the 40s. We can see Minnesota, we're in the teens. We can maybe have too. North Dakota, we're in the 20s. South Dakota, we're in the 20s and Verdes. Nebraska, we're in the Verdes and 40s. 40s in Kansas, 50s in Kansas. We can see also. We got a flip-flop pattern here we could see this week with cold air and warm air. 50s in Missouri, 50s in Arkansas, 50s in Texas, and 50s in Louisiana and Georgia in the 60s. Alright, so by 2 p.m. on Monday, we can have 60s and 70s in Kansas, 60s in Texas, 60s in Missouri, 60s in Arkansas, 60s in Louisiana, 60s in Kentucky, 50s in Michigan, 50s in Ohio, maybe 50s in Indiana, 50s in Illinois, 40s in Iowa, Nebraska, we're in the 40s. Kansas, we're in the 60s and 70s. Missouri, we're in the 60s. We can see Montana, we're in the Verdes. North Dakota, we're in the 20s and Verdes. Minnesota, we're in the 20s. Arizona, we're in the 80s. We can see New Mexico, we're in the 60s. We can see also 60s in Colorado. Montana in the Verdes. Colorado, we're in the 60s. And Wyoming, we're in the 40s and 50s. North and South Dakota, we're in the Verdes and 40s too. 40s in Nebraska, 40s in Iowa, 50s in maybe Indiana, 40s and 50s in Michigan, Wisconsin, maybe in the 20s and Verdes. We can see in 40s too also. So yeah, guys. Alright, by Monday at 5 p.m. we have 70s in Kansas, 70s in Oklahoma, you can see 60s in Texas, 19 in Minnesota, in the 20s in Wisconsin. We can see Verdes in South Dakota, 20s in North Dakota, 40s in Nebraska, 70s in Kansas, Colorado, we're in the 60s and 70s, Arizona, we're in the 80s and 90s, in New Mexico, we're in the 60s and 70s. Alright, so by Monday at 10 p.m., we could have 16 degrees in Minnesota, 20s in Wisconsin, 20s in Michigan, Verdes in Ohio, Verdes in Iowa, 40s in Nebraska, 50s in Missouri, Arkansas, we're in the 50s. Louisiana, we're in the 50s. Also, Arizona, we're in the 80s. We can see Utah, we're in the 60s. Colorado, we're in the 50s and 60s. Wyoming, we're in the 50s. Montana in the Verdes, we can see also on here, guys. So, yeah, 50s in Tennessee, 50s in Alabama, we can see also 50s in Mississippi, 50s in Georgia, 50s in Kentucky, Ohio, and the Verdes, too, we can see. Alright, so we see that cold air is sinking more south. We can see now we got 20s in Ohio, single digits in Minnesota. Wisconsin, we're in the teens. North Dakota, we're in the teens and 20s. Montana, we're in the Verdes. South Dakota, we're in the 20s. Oklahoma, we're in the 50s. 50s in Arkansas, 50s in Tennessee, 40s in Kentucky, 50s in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, 50s in Louisiana, 50s in Arkansas, 40s in Missouri. We can see also teens in Michigan potentially too. You can see. So let's move on to our east area. So our east area, we're going to be talking about colder air too, maybe 30s and 40s in Ohio. We can see You see Maine, we're in the 20s and teens too. Let's move back to our central. So Monday at 5 a.m. we could even have maybe potential 1 degree temperatures. Maybe in Minnesota we can see. Also for Tuesday at 5 a.m. 8 degrees in Wisconsin, 20s in Wisconsin. You can see. So let's look at our wind chills. You could even have negative wind chills again, guys. Have negative wind chills maybe in Minnesota tomorrow morning. -3, -4, -10 wind chills potentially. Again, sub-zero wind chills in upper Minnesota we could have. Alright, for Tuesday at 9 a.m. we got 30s in Kansas, 40s in Kansas, 50s in Oklahoma. Ohio, we're in the 20s. Michigan, we're in the 20s. Indiana, we're in the 20s and 30s. Illinois, we're in the 20s. Michigan, Wisconsin, we're in the teens and 20s. Minnesota, we're in the single digits. You can see. North Dakota, we're in the teens. South Dakota, we're in the 20s. Colorado in the 30s. Nebraska in the 30s. Iowa, we're in the 30s. South Dakota, we're in the 20s. Utah, we're in the 30s. Arizona, we're in the 60s. Texas, we're in the 50s too. We can see. Alright, so then we got our warm air coming back, and we can see Tuesday at noon. We can see 60s in Kansas, 60s in Oklahoma, 60s in Arkansas, 60s in Texas, 60s in Mississippi, 60s in Georgia. Ohio, we're in the 30s. Michigan, we're in the 20s. Wisconsin, we're in the 30s. Minnesota, we're in the 20s. North Dakota, we're in the teens. South Dakota, we're in the 30s. Nebraska, we're in the 30s. Colorado, we're in the 50s. Montana, we're in the 40s and 50s. You can see also on here, guys. Alright, Tuesday at 5 p.m. We have temperatures in the 70s in Kansas, 70s in Oklahoma potentially, 70s in Arkansas, Montana, we're in the 70s. Iowa, we're in the 30s. Ohio, maybe we're going to only get up to 40. Iowa, we're in the 30s and 40s. Minnesota, we could be in the higher 20s in northern Minnesota. 40s in Minnesota. Parts of Wisconsin, we're in the 30s. Michigan, we're in the 30s. Nebraska, we're in the 50s. We can see Arizona, we're in the 80s. Utah, we could have 60s and 70s. Colorado, we can maybe even have 60s and 70s too. Kentucky, we could have even 50s too. Also on here. Alright, so Wednesday at midnight, we can see also got 20s in Ohio, 20s in Michigan, 20s in Wisconsin, 30s in Iowa. We can see 40s and 50s in Missouri, 50s in Arkansas, Texas, we're in the 60s, Louisiana, we're in the 60s too. You can see on here Nebraska, our 40s, North Dakota, we're in the 30s and 40s, Minnesota, we're in the 30s, Wyoming, we're in the 50s, Utah, we're in the 40s, Arizona, we're in the 80s. You can see 60s in Louisiana, 50s in Mississippi, 50s in Georgia, 50s in Arkansas, 50s in Louisiana, 50s in Tennessee. We can see maybe even also. You can see 40s in Kentucky, maybe in 30s. We can see also Michigan. We're in the 20s on Wednesday at midnight. So by Wednesday at 5 a.m. we have 20s in Ohio. Let's move on to our east area. So we can see this is where our really cold area is going to be for Wednesday morning. We can see teens in the New England states, even single digits potentially. Maine, we're in the teens. Ohio, we're in the 20s. Indiana, we're in the 20s. Kentucky, we're in the 20s. Virginia, we're in the 30s. We can see how below average we're going to be for this day. Yeah, look at this, guys. This is how below average we're going to be for Wednesday at 2 a.m. We can see we're going to be 18 degrees below average, or you can see for this time of year. 10 degrees below average in Illinois. PA, we're 16 degrees below average. We can see also New York, we're 11 degrees above average, almost 20 degrees below normal. In Ohio, we can see Tennessee, we're 5 degrees below normal. Even places like Florida, we can have almost 10 degrees below normal for that average at that time of night. Also, we can see Arkansas, maybe have about average, maybe on 1 degree below average. We can see in some spots there. Okay, so let's move on to our central. Our central, we can see the opposite. We can see above average temperatures like Utah, Colorado again, Montana, Wyoming. We can see in Arizona too, and a little Kansas too. Minnesota, we got 16 degrees below average too. 12 degrees below average in Wisconsin. 12 degrees below average in Iowa. 8 degrees below average in Missouri. We we can see also on here. So yeah, guys, so let's move back to our temperatures and see what's going on there in our wind chills. Our wind chills, we could even have negative wind chills potentially in northern Maine. We can see with maybe -1 wind chill. We can see Ohio, we got our wind chills in the teens. We can see also on there. So yeah, guys. Our temperatures Wednesday at 6 a.m. we could have are going to be in the 20s in Ohio, 20s in PA, 20s in West Virginia. We can see also in 20s in 30s in North Carolina. We can see 40s in South Carolina, 50s in Georgia. We can see 40s in Arkansas, 50s in Missouri, 40s in Iowa, 30s in Minnesota, 30s in Wisconsin, 50s in Oklahoma. We can see also on here. So then we can have a pretty much a warm up coming after that a little bit. So yeah, guys, Wednesday at noon we're in the 40s in Ohio, 40s in PA. We can see 50s in Georgia. We can see 70s in Louisiana. Florida we're in the 60s. We can see Iowa we're in the 50s and 60s. We have like a flip flop pattern going on here. You can see. So let's look at our average now. So this is what our Wednesday average could be. So let's see. By Wednesday at 2 p.m., we're in the 50s in Ohio, 60s Louisiana, we're in the 70s. We just have like a flip-flop pattern going on here, guys. 40s in Pennsylvania, 40s in New York, 30s in the New England states. All right, so let's look at our central now. So we can see our warmer temperatures coming in. Look at this, guys. By Wednesday at 5 p.m., we can have above average temperatures. We just had below average temperatures for this region, like the same day, pretty much, guys. Like we get below average temperatures in the morning, and by like 5 p.m., we're above average. We can see 13 degrees above average in Iowa, 14 degrees above average in Kansas, Colorado. It could be 20 degrees above average easily in some places. But in Texas, we could be 10 degrees below average. And see, in upper North Dakota, we could be 12 degrees above average. Montana, we could be 12 degrees below average. And in Ohio, we're just a little above average, like 1-2 degrees. Illinois, we're several degrees above normal. So we can see, guys, if we're just in like a flip-flop pattern, we can see here. So let's look at what's going on. So then the next day for the East, like for Thursday, we're above average in like Ohio. We can see Missouri and things, 14 degrees above average in Missouri, 12 degrees above average in Ohio, 10 degrees below average in Minnesota. We can see several degrees below average in Wisconsin. PA, we got 2 degrees below average, 2 degrees below average in South Carolina potentially, below average in Florida. We can see, and pretty much 11 degrees above average in Indiana, 14 degrees above average in Missouri, with 12 degrees above average in Kentucky, or 5 degrees above average, and several degrees above average in West Virginia. So that's going to be wrapping up this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new about the weather today and what's going on. So we're going to be having a flip-flop pattern for pretty much for this like whole week. You can see cold air in places, warm air in some places the same week. So guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, notification bell, never miss a video like this, guys. Okay, guys, see you guys in the next video.